All right.
All right, so we're joined from Nissan, North America, right here in Canton, Mississippi, right down the road. But my man Kitt Duren, industrial engineering manager, total distribution cost manager, really wearing a lot of hats there. Been at Nissan for 18 years. We're so thankful to have you with us today. We're in the manufacturing career cluster. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School, and we're recording this for all of our friends at Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Germantown High School, Ridgeland High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to be here. Very honored. Hopefully
Now,
I can be of some service.
well, I appreciate it. And obviously, we know Nissan is a great place to work, and we'll talk about that and all the things that go into your job and all the people that you work with. It's a variety of skills and a variety of entry levels, of entry points. But just tell us a little bit about your background. You're from Jackson, went to Forest Hill High School, and then where you went from high school into college and how you got into this field.
Okay, so as you said, I went to Forest Hill. I was raised in subdivision number 2 on the west side of Jackson, which I'm very proud of. And I left there and actually went to Mississippi State in 1996. I graduated in 1996, and from there I majored in mechanical engineering. Things in life happen, so I definitely understand the struggles of and not giving up in your career and just in life. I eventually left Mississippi State and went to USM and changed my major to industrial engineering technology. And from there, I got hired at Nissan.
Wow.
And it was a long gap in there. But I got hired at Nissan as an industrial engineer. And then 7 years after that, I became IFA, Integrated Factory Automation manager. And then went to a couple special projects and then came back to industrial engineering as a manager and then left there and went back to project management, bringing in some AGVs and different technologies, and left there and went to total delivery cost manager. So it's a wide array of different places I've been, the opportunity that Nissan has given me, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Nissan is, everybody that we've had several guests from Nissan that have joined us in this class and others, and they've all said about if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to learn the manufacturing process, learn your area, Nissan takes care of people that do their part and really learn the process of creating these great vehicles.
Absolutely. Nissan has honestly been an awesome company to work for. And I never regretted one day of being here. If I put in the work, people that don't enjoy it actually don't put in the work. One quote that I got, my daughter plays basketball and Starkville coach actually had it on her shirt. Today I make myself coachable, so in the future I can make myself hireable. And so
Wow,
it
great
that
quote.
stuck with me. So and you can change that from teachable, that coachable to teachable, but that's one of the things that once that clicks in, you may not agree with everything. It's going to be the same way when you get in the workforce, but you have to put yourself in position to be coached or taught so you can be a good employee. Because it never stops. You know, when you move from position to position, you have to be teachable or coachable.
Yeah, and you made a good point there. And with Nissan, and especially in your area, Nissan is the ultimate place of having to work with a variety of people with a variety of skills. Now, we may have some, obviously, I know for a fact we have some kids, and other kids will see this later. Like, look, I'm really interested in working at Nissan, but I don't really want to go the whole college route. But with what you do, you work with people with a variety of skills and a variety of educational backgrounds, and you all work together to manufacture a product that a lot of people buy. But it has to be, I think it's cool because it has to be made quickly, but it has to be made correctly over and over again. So obviously, you have a degree in engineering, but you work with people every day that really may not have a 4 year college degree. So, talk about some of the entry points that you could have working at Nissan.
As an engineer, when I first came, I quickly learned um, that most of the time, those of us that have the 4 year degrees are 6 or 8 year degrees, even we get so much as we call caught up in the weeds that uh, we don't really know how to implement the change. So part of my success, most of my success has come from the technicians themselves that don't have that 4 year degree, because they're the ones that's actually doing it. They are the ones that actually put in the time and can tell you how to change a process to make it better. So don't think you have to have an engineering degree or uh, a manufacturing degree per se. It's about your mindset and your goals that you set for yourself, because you can still make a living for your family without that degree, as long as you set your goals, and then as long as you're teachable, coachable, you can get hot and you can be successful. So, and those are the people that actually make this plant run. The ones, not the engineers, not the managers, not the plant manager, without the actual technicians that sometimes some of them have 4 degrees, but not all of them are the ones that actually make it run. So everybody's important. And quite honestly, not even past the technician, even down to the janitorial services, those are the people that make this plant run. And all those positions are important. My position is not any more important than their positions. That's the only way we can be successful. That's the only way a team can work.
Yeah, and a lot of these certification programs at Holmes and Hines and some of these other community colleges are
Hmm.
very useful for a place like Nissan. So if somebody says, I'm interested in working in the manufacturing process, they can do the they can get the manufacturing certification, and they've got a whole set of skills that it took them 9 months to get, and that gives them a leg up in getting hired at Nissan.
Absolutely. With things like welding, forklift driving, the learning the HVAC type of things are things that I can't do myself, even as an engineer, but those are the people that I rely on when I implement these projects. Electrical drops have to be done, water has to be run, um, and I have to get material to me. I can't get on a forklift. A lot of people
Yeah.
think that engineers do everything. No, I can only think of it high level, and this is how we're going to do it. I can help with the project and getting it done, but the most important aspects come from those type of skills. So yeah, absolutely, and nothing wrong with it. Getting those skills only helps you, even if you want to go to a 4 year college. If you have a forklift training, if you have welding experience, those things only help you and add to what you can do. Because we
Yeah,
have a
and
whole group
also
called the Kaizen team, and
yeah.
that's their skill set. Yep.
Yeah, and also, I know you guys are always looking for software and tech people because especially with these new EV vehicles that are about to start being produced, you're gonna have there's advanced technology in that. You're gonna need people with certifications in robotics. You're gonna need people with certifications in certain IT programs. So it's not just we all think of the conveyor belt and the people with the tools and all, and that definitely exists, but there are a variety of skills in manufacturing, especially at Nissan, that are needed and that you need good young people to come and fill.
Absolutely. Everything that you're talking about are things that we can use today, right now. I can think of projects that we can use those skills on. So definitely, uh definitely go that avenue is a plus. That avenue is a plus. When I was in back a while ago when I was in high school, sometimes people tend to look down when you try, look at those positions. No, not anymore. I wish that I had taken advantage of some of those opportunities. So please do. If again, that's not the end. You can still go as far as you want to go, but that's an opportunity very early in your career to gain skills that can help you be able to support yourself.
Yeah, and then especially now, Holmes Community College, and I don't know if our ninth graders know this, but at Holmes Community College with a 20 on the ACT, you can go tuition free and you can get those certifications for $0. And then that makes you marketable. And then also, I know one of the benefits of Nissan is they do have tuition reimbursement. So if you wanted to work at
Mhm.
Nissan will pay part of your college tuition to advance those degrees, which makes you more marketable within the company.
One thing that I felt, I'm glad you talked about Holmes. One thing I failed to mention was I'm actually a graduate of Holmes. I told you it was a long hiatus between when I went to Mississippi State. That's a whole nother story we can get into. But I actually went to Holmes and got my industrial engineering technology 2 year degree from Holmes, and then
Wow,
went to
that's awesome.
USM. So community college is an awesome place to start. even if you know you're going to a 4-year college, community college. Now, because to be honest, it's not that it's easier because I had teachers at Mississippi State that were easier than some of the teacher at home. You're still getting a quality education. So if you have the opportunity to go to homes, don't look down on any community college because that's your opportunity. You have everything sitting right there. It's just a pathway. You can go to be an electrician, you can go be a plumber, or you can be an engineer. Everything's right there. That's your start. So it's a
Absolutely.
great opportunity.
Yeah, and then also, and I mentioned the tuition reimbursement. What are some of the other benefits that Nissan offers? Because I know I've been to the plant. And it was really cool just seeing there was a bank, there was a post office, there's food there, there's a wellness center. So what are some of the other benefits that Nissan has for employees?
Well, we have awesome benefits such as your insurance, but also we have a pharmacy here, and
Oh wow.
that helps out a lot. So, and it's honestly it's cheaper than if you went to it's a Walgreens basically, but it's not as expensive. So Nissan makes sure that we're well taken care of because you're gonna work hard. Uh, you're gonna be able to take care of your family and play hard, but they also care about your wellness. So all those things that you mentioned, the bank, everything that you need is right there. And if place that if your shoulders tight, we have a place to go, a therapist that can see you right here in the plant. So they've gone through great lengths to make sure that we're comfortable as we do what we need to make great vehicles here.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, uh, I just cringe when I hear kids tell me, well, I'm just going to chill in school. I'll just go work at Nissan. And I'm like, it don't work like that. You don't just go knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. Nissan is investing a lot of money to build a high dollar product that people pay a lot of money for. No company, no matter what you're manufacturing, is going to skimp costs and just hire anybody to make something that they're going to charge that much money for. It's just not going to happen.
No, I've been as a manager, I've been part of a lot of hiring process. And the industrial engineer, one of our roles is to say calculate how many people we need. If something new comes in, like the EVs coming in, how many people do we need? So we control how many people we hire, how many people we just stand still on. But during that hiring process, we know it's been proven that your attitude, your levels of confidence, or how you handle things, starts very early in middle school, high school. So if you have that attitude, when you bring that attitude, it's not anything that you can interview through and phase through. I will quickly weed you out. And the things that you do outside of school matters. If somebody's trying to hire you, don't think that, when your name comes up, we won't may do a quick search and see, okay, what did this person do? So you be careful what you do on your social media. Be careful what you do. Sometimes I've been to places where people have asked, hey, let me help you get a job. And I was in a position to help you do that. But then they had a bad attitude at the counter. They worked at Walmart or at the gas station or somewhere. So how
Yeah.
you carry yourself matters.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that about cleaning up your social media because people are love to say, well, that I can say whatever I want. It's my freedom of expression, and they are right. But a company also has the right to vet who is working there. Um, yeah, again, and I'm glad you mentioned that because Nissan is very good about finding. People could say, I got a private profile. They'll still find it. If you're posting guns or dancing around half naked on your TikToks, companies like Nissan are going to find it, and it's really going to hurt your chances to be representative of a company that holds such a high professional standard.
it it doesn't help. I can guarantee you that it doesn't help at all. And when you're in that environment, I'm well aware that sometimes you're in an environment that those things happen, right? But you don't have to post it, and you need to be the change in your environment because coming to Nissan is life changing. And if you want a life changing experience, you have to change no matter what environment it is. Can't use that as an excuse. You don't have to be a part of that. You be the change in that environment so that you can have a brighter future.
Yeah, and another thing that people don't realize is that you have to prove that you can be safe. I mean, obviously, it's a great place to work, and it's building a super cool product that I think it's cool that right here in Canton We have vehicles that are literally moved all over the globe. I mean, it's a tangible thing. You get to see the fruits of your labor, but it is something that safety is the number one precaution at all times when you're dealing with that type of equipment, that type of technology, and that type of, just large machines. If you're somebody that can't be trusted around that, it's really not going to work out for you.
Yeah, and in this environment, it is a team environment. Uh, People's lives depend up on your actions. If you, for example, if you go and don't uh, uh, turn off a robot and somebody's in there and that robot comes on, the robot is only going to do what it's programmed to do. And it's been cases, not necessarily at Nissan, but it's been documented cases where things like that, people have gone and it just crushes them. Those are extreme cases, but even in the point where you didn't file something that was sharp and that was your job and somebody gets cut, uh, it's not, this is definitely not, it's not all about you. And one thing that we look for is making sure our customer is satisfied. And that's not the customer that we're selling the car to. So we have what we call internal and external customers. Yeah, we always know to satisfy the external customer. Make sure the steering wheel is secured so it doesn't fall off where they're driving. We're good at that. But what we take pride in is making sure our internal, that means the next process, that we have them safe and a quality product going from process to process. And that's the same. You take that same value even when you're in high school. You care about the next person. You don't leave them in a situation. It's not all about you. You care about the next person, and that's how you build a team environment. That's how you build something that your whole class, whichever class you're graduating with. That's one thing at Forest Hill when we were there, man. We cared about each other to this day. When we were on the phone, we still Greg was talking about some of my old classmates from high school. We still talk to this day because it was a team environment. When it's genuine like that, it exudes not only from your schoolwork, but even through your career. So it's just good to have all that is what I'm saying is character.
Yeah,
Build
and,
that character.
and I agree with you. You talked about, in our day, we didn't have some of these same opportunities. Now in Madison County schools, we have an engineering and robotics academy. They have it on campus at Ridgeland High School, and we have it available to all of our other students at our career center. They're able to get robotics and engineering certifications at 17, 18 years old. And,
Wow.
if somebody's like, I don't really want to go to college, and you've got those skills at a high school, Nissan could use people like that because these new processes and this new technology, that's what's needed in these manufacturing processes. And if somebody's 18 years old and can do it, Nissan could probably find a spot for them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great benefit to gain those skills. And to be honest, think about it from this way. Everything you do in life is going to be hard or have some difficulty. So yeah, I know you may want to get out of school early. I'm a senior and I want to go leave early. But if you just hunker down and get some of these skills, no matter what you want to do going in life, they will be a benefit because we can use them right now. And just think about what you're able to do at, 17, 18 years old, and have that how much confidence that'll build for you in your future. We'll be
Absolutely.
take advantage of those things.
Now, before I get to the students'
Yeah.
questions, I did want to mention one more thing, and I think it's important to realize this is that, yeah, and again, I'm a huge fan of what Nissan does with all the benefits, and I stand by it. I think it's a great place to work. I've heard nothing but good things from so many of the Nissan guests, but I also think it's important to know, to let the kids know, if you want to work there, it's not just you show up and you're working 8 to 5. The overwhelming majority of people that work at Nissan start off working the overnight shift, and I don't think that's something that's really well known. And I heard that from Gerald Self himself, the head of HR at Nissan, has said, "Look, we want you to come here, but you need to know when coming into this, you're probably going to be working overnight as you start off." So, just talk about when if
Mm.
somebody wants to, obviously you said you can find a spot for them, but once they get there, how does that process work once they start working at Nissan?
It's all about flexibility. So in order to be efficient, you have to be flexible. And so along with that comes different shift work, different hours. You may be at work on a Friday and you're supposed to get off at 3, and then we may push it to 4 o'clock, right? So you need to be flexible, but with flexibility, to be able to be flexible, you have to plan. And that's one key that a lot of times that no matter how much character you have, how hard your work ethic is, one thing to add to that is planning. Write things down if you can't remember them. Just say, try to be proactive with things. Some people like I felt like I worked better at the last minute. That's not a good thing. I had to change that, especially when I started managing people because everybody doesn't work that way. So one of the keys, no matter what you do, is to also plan, but you have to be flexible. Uh, Anything that you want in life that's going to be worth anything, and you need to be flexible, and then it gets better, to be honest, as you get, if you don't want to do that and you want some more stable things as you move on in your career, then as you start putting in that work, then you can move on to some of those spots, but initially you need to be flexible. And even in my position, I've been here 18 years, I still have to work a Saturday sometime when I'm implementing projects. It depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, and it
But when
also
you know,
depends on
when you were, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it depends on supply and demand. If a certain a certain distributor wants a larger order, you know, if Nissan wants to get paid, they're gonna have to hit that quota.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because from being a Japanese company, one of the things that we do, we like to build to order as much as possible. We don't want a whole lot of inventory, right? So if all of a sudden they start building wanting a lot of Ultimas, we're gonna give them to you. So that means we have to, work longer. And just the opposite end, if they stop building want them as much, then we may have to pull back. So we're flexible because the
That's
company is
awesome.
flexible. You have to be flexible.
Absolutely. Well, I got some questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can. These are really good
All
too.
right.
I'm glad they're thinking about this. This first, and these are mainly ninth graders. But this person is Rihanna Kelly,
Awesome.
and she asked, "How long does the process to make the vehicle take from start to finish?"
Okay, from start to finish, we can do that in about so here. So is we start from just a roll of steel in the stamping department. So it's just a nothing but just a roll of steel. Just think of steel rolled up like toilet
Yep.
paper. That's the car.
Mhm.
So we start from there, and we can do it we try to do it in about 18 hours, all the way when it's
Wow.
finished.
Wow. That's
Yeah, that's
incredible.
going through there and getting painted. Yeah. And that's plus or minus, and I get the specific number. That'll be around the target. Now, in a process where you have things that can happen, we do track, hey, are you plus this? Are you minus that? We don't want to be, you might think it's better to build it quicker, but not necessarily, because if we build a vehicle quickly, then we don't have a truck waiting for it, right? And it's sitting on the lot, then it might get lost. A hailstorm might come through and we have to redo it. So all those things have to be thought of. But you can get it through there in about an hour. That means body shop. We're gonna put everything together and we're gonna paint it, and then we're gonna put all the parts inside of it, and then we're gonna check it.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to this question. Now, I know the answer to this, but I think it's cool to hear you answer it. This is Derek Mitchell, and he asked, "What are the different phases of the manufacturing process in the plant?"
Okay. So I kind of hinted on it then, but we start from stamping, which means like the side of your vehicles and your hoods and your trunks, we stamp those out ourselves. We have big presses. You will hear them if you go down there, boom, boom, and it stamps them out uh from just plain steel. And then we also from then we go to the body shop. We weld all those parts together and make them come. We put the floor in, everything that's stamped, the doors, the sides, we put them in, and then we move them to paint. Then we paint it. Well, first we go through e-coat because if you just have steels, a metal, bare metal, it rusts. So we don't want customers, 5 years from now, everything rusting. So we dip it in what we call an e-coat process. So we basically dip it in a bath to keep it from rusting. Then we paint it, and then we send it to trim, where we put all the stuff that you normally would see in it. And then we check it, and then we put it on a truck, and then you can go buy.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned about the ecosystem and the paint because that's where you would have your chemical engineer. So
Mm.
everybody thinks chemical engineer really is in the chemical labs, but Nissan uses chemical engineers because you deal with chemicals. So if anybody's interested in that area of engineering, there's a huge place for that in the manufacturing of Nissan vehicles.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm working on a project now, leading a project of trying to e-coat more parts in house. So, and I have to deal with the chemical engineer. And if we do it in house, does it cover it enough for the customer and not get rusted? So,
Yep,
definitely chemical engineer.
absolutely.
Yep.
Here's a good one. This is Rondell Ellis, and he asked, "What skill do you think is the most important that you have during your career?"
Uh, People skill. I know you probably were looking at math or something like that. Those are things that you can learn and you do use, but no matter what, if you don't have good people skills, um, because you're going to need people on your team, and if they don't trust you, they will not, you will not be successful. So how you treat people, from the janitor to the VP of the plant, uh, you really should treat all of those people the same, quite honestly. So you need to have people skills and be able to, and with that becomes communication, communication verbally and on your emails in writing. So your English classes, don't take them for granted, because if you come, you can almost have a job, and if you mess around and write me an email, thank you, and for the interview, and you couldn't complete a sentence, or you want to abbreviate everything, I'm thinking twice at this point. So you need
Yep.
to always be aware of where you are, and who you're dealing with, who is your audience. But uh, people skills is very important. I could teach you anything if you're willing to learn, to be honest, but I can't teach you how to treat people, and you have to be genuine about it. So, good
Great point.
question.
I've got two more. This is Precious Blackman, one of our basketball players playing for the district championship tonight. And she asked,
Oh,
"Do you?
awesome! Wait,
You
my
always,
daughter plays for Murrah, so we already been put out.
oh, yeah, I had y'all's
I
game
said my
against
daughter
Callaway.
plays for Murrah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But this is a good question. She goes, "Do you always work on projects, or do you ever get to actually help in the manufacturing of the vehicle?"
Um, I'm always involved in that process. When I'm implementing, I like to put my hands on it myself so I can really understand. Because as engineers, sometimes we sit at the desk and just draw things out, and then it goes out there, and they'll be like, "What have you done?" So it's always good to be involved in the process. Though I'm not as good as proficient as the technicians themselves, that's why I ask them and communicate with them, but I do get involved in the process. But from an engineering side, a lot of times we look at it, make sure it's safe, make sure that the parts will fit, and but we still have to put our hands on it. You never get past that. And
That's awesome.
sometimes when a new engineer comes in, we'll have them actually go to the floor for about 2 or 3 weeks, so they'll
Oh,
understand.
cool. Yeah, and I think that's important because if you're going to be implementing a process, you need to see how it works and and how the uh, how the machines work. I think that's extremely important.
Yep.
And I just got one more. This is Christian McGee, one of our football players here, and he asked, "How long does it usually take to get hired at Nissan?"
It depends on uh, typically it's once you're in the pool, it depends on if we're in need. So if we're in need, they can call you right up, if you're in the
Wow,
pool. And then you'll go through some assessment, and that'll take, I don't know how long. It depends on what we need or how long that assessment, but normally that assessment is a couple weeks. But I mean, you could get hired if you put your name in the hat and you have the credentials. It could be anywhere from a week to, or it could be up to 2 years.
wow,
And again, it your character and your communication helps out a lot, because if you're interested in it, and then somebody at Nissan and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in," uh, and they've seen you in action of how your character and your capabilities, then that person could give you a leadway into kind of probably moving ahead in that process. So,
awesome.
but people are watching. Yep. So it
Absolutely.
depends.
All the time. I'm glad you said that. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us today. But before we go, Um, why should these kids really consider working at a place like Nissan? Because, they see it every day. We pass it on the road, but you gave us a great insight into what goes on there. So if kids are kind of like, I'm interested in building stuff, I'm interested in getting some of these trades. Why could Nissan be a great fit for them?
Nissan is a great fit because it's a proven company that cares about its employees. I've been in many high level meetings where uh, the first priority is the employees. A lot of times over profit. We want the long term importance of the employees. It's paramount. Also, you can see your hard work pay off.
Yeah.
Uh, and so if you put the work in, you put the time in, you will be successful. And a lot of companies is not like that, but we've proven here if you stay long enough and you put the time in, it'll be well worth it. But quite honestly, I'm not the one to say, hey, this is the place you have to work. More importantly, have that character, do the things that the teacher, make yourself teachable and coachable. So you're not, if you want to come to Nissan and for some reason you don't make it, that doesn't mean that you're a failure. I don't want you to think that because sometimes we're hiring, sometimes you're not. But the key in life and the key in the position that you're in is ninth graders and whoever may be listening to that is to put yourself in position to be successful. And we'd love to have you here. It's an awesome place to work. But if not, I look forward to at some point seeing all of you being successful wherever you are and whatever you do.
Love it.
And
Well,
good luck on
thank
that
you so much.
basketball game.
Yeah, and yeah, the boys are playing the consolation, the girls are playing the championship tonight in Noxapater. So, and I'll be down calling the Port
Awesome.
Gibson Jefferson County game in Southwest Mississippi. So, a lot of basketball being played tonight.
Awesome.
But again, Kitt Duren, Nissan North America, we thank you so much for joining us today. And that was some good stuff, my man. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Y'all be good. See you later.
I talk to you soon.